TIFU by making such a disgusting smell from my butt it evacuated a courtroom. So this happened about 5 hours ago. So today I woke up and had really painful cramps due to the deadly woman's monthly cycle, mixed with some spiced chicken that hadn't sat right in my belly all night. I go to the toilet about 3 times before work this morning, but it's eased off a bit, so take tablets, grin and bear it, then leave for work. Now my job is working within the prison system and escorting prisoners to certain places, including courts. This is where it all went downhill. I had to escort this prisoner over to the witness box and stand next to her, open court, so I do my usual, but my tummy has started to really hurt again. I'm trying my absolute best to put off a fart which I know is brewing but can't hold it much longer. So I do a really silent one and pat myself on the back thinking I had got away with it. That is until the prisoner starts coughing and retching and shouting, "What the fuck's that?" I quickly realize what it must be but can't admit to such a foul, putrid smell, so start crinkling my nose as well and gagging. The admin clerk walks slightly closer and retches so hard she had to swiftly put her head in the bin. By this point it's getting loud and chaos is starting to ensue, not what you want in court, in front of the district judge. He quickly tells me to take the prisoner back over to the closed dock and states it must be the pipes. He stands down the whole of court and makes maintenance come in to check all pipes for any leaks, cracks, anything which could have made that smell happen. Prisoner still has watery eyes, pretending to gag, and the clerk is sipping water next to a bucket. TLDR, so yeah, court was stood down for over an hour whilst it was searched for the cause of the smell. Not knowing the cause was back down in the cells, hanging her head in shame and regaling to her co-workers about the leaky pipe upstairs. You should also pat yourself on the back for releasing such a smelly fart that everyone in the room thought a gas leak occurred. Of course, the alternate scenario. What if it were a booming fart that smelled as bad? Funny story. I teach martial arts. So when we're doing stuff like burpees to help warm up, or incorporating sit-ups into heat-style warm-ups, sometimes people let one slip. It happens often enough that nobody really thinks anything of it. Had one dude come with his girlfriend and her friend, and someone's mom. It was their first time. Dude ended up getting a thunderclap of a fart squeezed out, and that fart was one of the most ungodly smells I have ever experienced, and I say this as a father who has changed many of diapers. Their entire entourage was visibly shaken and embarrassed, and the whole room was filled with grimaces and distracted faces. They never came back, sadly. Ah, the forgotten art of martial farts. When I was a drill sergeant, I was legit pissed at one of the platoons. They just finished eating chow and I can't remember what the fuck they did, but I decided I was going to destroy them in the bay. This wasn't like I'm going to yell at you because I can heat, but you motherfuckers are done level of nuclear energy. I wish I could remember what they did that made me so livid. I got them in the bay and had them doing the V-up while I call cadence at the same time and chew their asses out. All of a sudden, it starts happening. It was like an orchestra of farts going off. Here I am in the bay, they're lined up on the floor, and all I can hear is farts going off left and right. I'm in a predicament. I really want to push my rage and squash whatever it was they did to piss me off, but I'm also holding back my laughter as I hear these little fart all over the place. Finally it just got to be too much and I was wondering if they would start shitting themselves, so I wrapped up my literal shitty symphony and walked out of the bay as fast as I could so I could bust out laughing. As the door shut behind me, I heard one private say, "It's going to smell like fucking fecal dust in here for fucking ever." Ah yes, the dreaded period PARP, I know it well. I swear my farts barely smell except for 3 days every month when I'm genuinely concerned they might burn a hole right through my jeans. Once, on my period, I farted for 11 seconds straight. The stench was horrendous. The horn of Helm Hammerhand shall sound in the deep. One last time. Let this be the hour that we draw swords together. Feldhead's awake. Now for wrath, now for ruin, and a red dawn. He stands down the whole of court and makes maintenance come in to check all pipes for any leaks, cracks, anything. He didn't check all the cracks. I have similar thing happen when I first starting dating my husband. Lying in bed I had to fart so bad, but when had only been together 2 months. Worst period mixed and a spicy curry that didn't sit well. I thought it would be okay, no, plotted out, immediately gagged. He has a sweet little dog curled up with us and I blamed it on him. My now husband booted him from the room. I confessed 7 years later and he remembered vividly and didn't talk to me for 2 days because I had betrayed his dog. 10 years ago I was in the car with the guy I was on a second date with. It was winter so we had the windows up and the heater going full blast. I let a little, quiet fart out thinking it would be no biggie. You know how your own farts don't seem to smell as bad to you? This was not one of those. He wafted the air in his face a little, scrunched up his nose, said do you smell that? I blamed it on the heater in his car or maybe a smell outside, but he was like I don't know. We ended up dating for almost 4 years, but it took me about 3 of those to admit that was me. And of course, he remembered it. Bangs gavel. Odor in the court. I cleared out a classroom in high school and the teacher threatened to send me to the principal, but damn. This is next level. I made the poor choice to eat 2 gas station hot dogs before a roller derby bout. I usually do this without issue because the quality of Sheetz convenience stores is top-notch, but the nervousness of the day apparently gave me some gastric distress. Just as we were waiting at the edge of the arena to be announced and come skating in. It happened. I had a toot. A toot that smelled like Satan's hot dogs. Everyone knew exactly what it was, no pretending there. They just didn't know who it came from. We all played dumb. For years, people groaned and brought up the damned fart, over and over, wondering who done it. Years later, the league was having our last skate night before dissolving because we were losing our venue. I reminded them of the incident. Several had kept the memory alive. 4 years of derby and hearing people talk about that nasty-ass fart. So when I asked if anyone remembered it and the few of the team still left say that they did, I turned around and looked at them and proudly shouted it was me. Finally something funny that doesn't involve sex. Law and Order, Stinky Victims Unit. In the criminal bowel system, smelly-based offenses are considered especially heinous. In Blue Fart City, the deadly defecations who investigate these bile farts are members of an elite squad known as the Stinky Victims Unit. These are their stories. Well shit. Not quite. I'm dying laughing. Your TIFU reminds me of a near miss I had a while ago. A friend and I were sitting in the court's audience when I felt a big, hot one bubbling to the surface. I confided that I was really struggling to hold it until break. Then I asked her, since we were sitting on a wooden bench, if she thought it would be one of those high-pitched squeaky farts, or a loud, clapping fart that would reverberate throughout the courtroom? Fortunately the jury's still out on that one as I made it to recess, but I still wonder what might have been and crack up every time. Last weekend, the sweaty stinky dance floor of a gay club went from full to empty because of a rancid fart that swept the dance floor and hung heavy in the air. There was no escape, just crinkled noses and disgusted faces. The security guards opened the emergency doors and windows to clear out the smell. No one waited to see if it did clear out. The night ended for us after that. Until now I guessed it must have been a novelty stink bomb deployed strategically by the fans, but now I'm certain it was a rogue fart gone wrong. Thank you for your intel. I hope whomever cleared out the club is proud of themselves and not too ashamed.